Video game flash fiction. This is a timed writing game starting now where I'm going to give myself 90 minutes today to select an Atari 2600 cartridge to slot in this console and create a flash fiction story from it and read it at the end. To be able to select that cartridge, I just rolled that dice and it's a 5, so I'm going to go from the 5th column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to roll this 6-sided dice again to randomly select the cartridge from the bottom to the top. Let's get to row 4. So, for today's video game flash fiction story, to inspire an intellectual, property-free story, much like ones found in video game flash fiction sports, is and will be SwordQuest EarthWorld. That's pretty good art. This is the front. SwordQuest EarthWorld. Let's see if this still works. These have been tested. Not all have been played. That is quite the graphic to begin a game. We're looking at 1982 is the copyright on that for the Atari 2600 game we're about to play. And full disclosure, I think is probably the proper word to say right about now. I think I own this game. Back around, well, a couple years after that. So, that means I'll have some memories come up today, maybe, that will maybe inspire the story. But let's play the game. They're just okay. Yep. I feel it's a little intense. I'm gonna wait for to really get into the sound soon. Well, let's just see how it plays. Looks like that staticky jumping. Okay, so we're in a. Whoa, I forgot about that. Okay, that's right. Oh, I definitely remember this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, fudge. I don't have quite the reaction on the handle. I'm going to blame the tools today. Shit. You have to, like, do it all in one time. Is the only way, really, you have to, like, find the rhythm of this thing going up and down. Well, fudge. Ah, fudge you. And they get like smaller and smaller. Because there is a way to just... Alright, I give up. That was loud and intense. I hope that... Whoa. Now, I think is this the room where you can like leave your stuff? But I might need it for something. Like, that's where I never understood. Like, I collected these things. Yeah, man. I played this thing for... I never created many... No, I can't go that way. I don't think I created... Yeah, like, what the fuck? What's this? Can I only take so many things? Like, that's what I never... No, I can't take that. I don't know if it's... Yeah, well, I can take that, though. I can take a candlestick, but these two things holding hands... That type of door was in another game I played by iMagic, the Fire or something. I think I actually have that posted on the YouTube channel, Video Game Flash Fiction. Has a door like that. Okay. Do my clothes change like every single time? At least through my TV right now. I see white trousers and a blue shirt, maybe with a little bit of yellow on the bottom. Definitely. Okay. Now I got yellow pants. Oh, well, whatever. What's this one? This is like the game Freeway or Frogger, more like. See, that's what was cool. I liked how they had all these different sort of like games. I didn't know what the hell I was doing except for trying to get to the other side. It was like just the chicken games, but there were many, and I was able to get through them when I was. Come on, man! Oh, fudge you! Come on, come on, come on, come on! It's like a. I don't even know. Like I'm trying to fictionalize this now. What the hell am I even doing? I'm having fun playing, but I got to create a story, and I only got like an hour and 24 minutes left to do that. And I'm some dude in trousers that change colors. Ooh, and I got into the room. That's right, and I think I could go drop in one of the yellow rooms. Maybe that like represents a thing. If I remember, there's something to do with Zodiac, possibly. Maybe that's like the thing that's of the room, but I can lift and steal all this other stuff, maybe. And then I can go maybe drop it back into the yellow room. I don't know why, though. I don't even know why in the real story, to be honest with you. I think I even have this instruction booklet, which, I mean, I may have read when I was younger, but I really didn't care because I was like, their story really didn't matter, and the mechanics of the game kind of solved itself out like they are right now. Now, what to do, I don't know. It probably would have helped. Did I even have the instructions, though? And if I did I not lose them? I don't remember them. I don't need to be back here. I already got their stuff looted. I'm gonna go back to the yellow one, and we're gonna hang out. This is can be my storage because I always am able to get in here. And this, oh my God, it is. Is that like Scorpio? Can I just like? Yes. And then you just collect all this stuff and put it with Scorpio. I don't know. Hopefully, I can get back there. Let's go. Let's try one more. Oh, I can't get involved in that. Yeah. Can I just take this? Ooh, is that like the? I don't know. Virgo, maybe. You got nothing for me, whatever you are. Can't go that way. Can't go that way. Like, what the hell's this story? Seriously. Like, I have no... What is that? Like, fudge. Alright, I gotta start thinking about the story because I'm lost. I never understood this game. Like, I like playing the different sort of things and trying to get the other side. And I think I started these patterns of collecting things and dropping them off where I just did. So I'm having some... I'm using... But I never... Like with Pitfall, you're in a jungle collecting things. Did I ever really generate some sort of story? Nah, I mean, sort of. But then there was so much media around the age of the 80s that about Pitfall, I think he even had his own cartoon. I don't know if it was a Saturday morning one. If it was, it's all blurred into one by now. Let's at least create a file so I can pretend that I'm a writer for a moment while I'm trying to think of SwordQuest. Holy cow. I know I say this all the time, and maybe every time. But this is the one. I suppose I shouldn't say that. Maybe this will be easy because I've played this, and I have thought about like I don't know if I knew then, and I probably have read since then too, because I've read about many of these Atari games as far as from history of them and how they created them and the coders of them. And having had read those, I gained a little bit of knowledge about this game, and I think that's where my connection to having this be like the horoscope signs, whatever you want to call them. But I don't know why or what the point of the game is. And this is EarthWorld. I like that even better. What's the point of the game? In EarthWorld. SwordQuest EarthWorld. I mean, I don't even... Maybe I gotta find the sword. It reminds me... I mean, I played SwordQuest Water? I'm looking at... I don't know. Because that's Fireworld's one. That's the EarthWorld instruction booklet. And I may have played Fireworld already, though I never owned that one. This one I actually owned. Played a lot. And I'm, even with that, struggling, like, you're like a dude. I mean, you don't have to be a dude. You're a person. You're a human-looking thing. And the person here looks a little Caucasian, but we don't have to go ahead. I want to go the they, man. Like, it could be you. Maybe I'll go second person. Maybe that's the best thing to do, is to go second person. Or maybe I could do one of those, well, it's flash fiction stories. I could take some part of my life playing this game and the events that were around this and how I used it for escape, but then fictionalize it. It's been a while since I've done that type of narrative. The you would be fun, but I feel like I've done that yesterday, and I don't need to do it again today. Maybe I do. An hour and 18 minutes left. Let's write a word, and let's look at this little cursor blink. Looking over here at the monitor of the stream, it seems like what's coming through there is about as good as what I see before me. And I'm in a scorpion chamber. I'm in like a maze that you go into rooms and there's weird stuff going on. And there's a lot of weird stuff. So now I gotta like write 600, 1,200 words to describe how there's this waterfall of rainbows that if hits me, I get thrusted back to the front of the room and I have to go to the end of the room. Versus this room where I have to run across to avoid things that look like logs, but maybe are, I don't know. And then you drop stuff, you collect the stuff. So I'm struggling. At least I'm struggling with taking mechanics, sights, and sounds of the game. And I suppose that, I do want to adhere? I hope that's the right word. I want to, if you don't know if the usage, try to find another word. Which I sometimes will then ruin the thought, end it, and I should just refocus on these words. Maybe it was beneficial. I don't need to adhere to any rule. And the rule that I was thinking about is the idea of taking the sights and sounds that inspire the video game, which I normally do, unless that video game sights and sounds inspire, like, memories. And maybe that could be the you part. I think it's going to be second person. That way, I could do both, almost. If I do it good, and don't do it bad, I could almost read it to see, in my mind, hopefully, shown and told, a story that about the person playing the game, but also as if you're the person in the game, wondering what the hell you're doing, except for trying to collect these things for some reason. I think that's what I'm going to have it be. You don't know why you stand in the yellow room. Is that really how I want to start? I mean, if you don't know, though, like, now what's the conflict? What's the plot? What am I going to resolve? They don't care. They find out. They make it up their own self. I got an hour and 50 minutes, and at least I have a word that's probably going to get removed. Yeah. I wish the memories weren't here. It's a little bit easier to write a game where it's so detached that you don't have thoughts that are distracting you. And I'll say that, just the thoughts out loud about playing the Atari when I was young, on a TV that had that fuzz like this one does. But sometimes at one point you had to like warm it up because it was nearly broken. Because there weren't a lot of TVs. What was once the main TV and the only TV in the house became the TV that my brother and I could have in our room. But it also was old and it ended up breaking. Not necessarily breaking. I had to do this thing called warming it up. Like it started out as this line, and then eventually it'd flicker up into a full screen, and then you could play the Atari. I think even that same TV was used for when we got a Nintendo years later. But I remember playing these games. But even that, what's the story and the conflict? Right now, I'm just like looking at the screen of this person inside of a red room. Let's try that. Let's go with what I got now. And even usually when I try to do second person, usually like to start with the you. But let's just throw that out there. You don't know why. Don't know why. Now can I go? I'm gonna try this. I wonder. Oh, I wonder. What do I wonder? I wonder if you hold certain. I remember that if you hold certain things, and this is not going to help me write a story. This is only going to help delay the fact of me writing words. I think I don't have time to test right yet. I will in a moment. That you might be able to go left to right if you have the right item. I'd like to think that's true, but my memory is not, well, I'm not saying it's not as good. I just have a lot more to remember. So that's the type of sound that I'd want to lift for my Atari 2600 DJ set. Yeah. Repetitive sounds. Let's write words that don't seem too repetitive, hopefully. All right. So you don't know why you're standing in the blue room. Unable to. Should we just make this like north, south, east, west? Yes, we should. I don't need to invent direction. Am I going to make this like your... I know there's a genre out there of that at least I'm aware of. I haven't to where you're like you're a real person trapped maybe inside of a fantasy world role playing, like you're the player character and you know it. This might be along that, and I think it's like a subgenre now. I don't know the proper name for it, but this would be very similar to that. You don't know why you're standing in the blue. The blue room. Unable to pressing. That's no unable. That's like the most boring. You're standing in the blue room pressing an invisible wall. Like the one behind you on the west side. What did I have? Why you left? The rope and pick in the yellow room. And thought to bring the necklace and crucifix. This is going to be likely terrible. Yeah, it's crucifix. I mean, we'll see. I just have no, right now, the way I've set this up, the story if this were to be the opening, and because this is flash fiction, because there's a limited amount of words, I mean, I need to set up what the conflict is, what the plot is, what am I trying to resolve, or at least show that there was a point. If there is no conflict, then it's just a still life photo, which is fine. At least tell the story of how there was some traffic. And you're a little stressed to take that photo. Crucifix, yeah, again, that's how I spell it. Bill, say it out loud. Necklace with a crucifix. I'll probably put a with there, because people like to, connect it in some way. A necklace crucifix seems a little bit out of play, a little weird to read, at least for me. And unable, I'm getting rid of that. Why you left a rope and pick in the yellow room and thought about to bring the necklace with a crucifix. And why you're here. So I got to resolve. This is the thing to resolve. Went on some tangent. I got sidetracked like a something. I don't know the simile. I can't think of a simile right now. Just because I got the setup. That's right. I mean, I got 1,200 words. I'm setting up that their knowledge and their knowing is what could resolve this. Just by starting the story by you don't know. So you could definitely, if they knew somehow. Boom. We got a conflict. Let's create everything else, but how do they know now? I am trying to talk. I'm having difficulty a little bit of this, that nostalgia feel. Still memories of me standing, because we had the TV on top of the clothes drawers. I think my brother got the top 3 drawers and I got the bottom 3. And so you'd either have to look up or you'd stand. And it was really the only place for it, because you had to divide up the small room with your space and his space and your bed and top bed and closet space. So I guess it was like, the first sort of standing desk in a way. Back in 1985 version. Put on top of your tall dresser drawers and play this game you don't know why. It's fun, but now I got to create a story on it. And I got to find out how they find out. I'm not going to connect it to the person. Or should I? Should I write back to the individual, the you playing the game? And then I think that'd be it. Like that last paragraph would be the person's like purpose, the joy they get from it. I think I can do that. And I got an hour and 4 minutes. So everything else here, I'm going to include the actions of the games that I've played. I think the way that I unlock left right, I can't get into that and discover it. I don't have the time. This would definitely be one game I'd play again. But life. This is my moment. For it at least. So you don't know why you left the rope, and let's put the end. Yeah, I'm going to write the end already. At least I don't know what to write to. You. Jesus, I don't want to go there. Like the real reason. Right. No. Yeah. That'd be better. That'd actually make it a story, I suppose. Let's see if I can get there. And still, yeah, I think that's the story. Let's see if I can write it. I got an hour and 2 minutes. I just got to clear the throat and the emotions. You don't know why the necklace with the crucifix and why you can't go east or west in any of the rooms. I mean, how many were there, right? So let's find out. Let's at least look at that mechanic. I can then process back into some sort of... Holy shit. I don't even know what the hell happened there. That brought me out of something. Whoa, I'm going to leave that there for a moment. Huh. I got 16-4. All right. I'm going to leave that. I like that. That's a good... I don't even know what to say. That at least puts a little bit of a smile on my face and puts me out of my own mind a little bit. So let's go ahead and write this story. See how detached I can become from myself to get it done. You don't know why you left the rope and pick in the yellow room and thought to bring the necklace with the crucifix, and why you can't go east or west in any room. Any of the multicolored rooms. Colored rooms. that reflect from your white pants. You wonder why you're wearing white pants. Why you're wearing white pants. While adventuring. I mean, 'cause they look like they could be caverns, but I'm just going to call them rooms for right now. So you don't know why you're standing in the blue room pressing an invisible walk line. Walk line. I'd read that, then have to read it again, then would probably read over it, but invisible wall. I should probably say where that invisible wall is at, like the invisible wall in the hall. Ooh, there's a little bit of rhyme. In the hall to another room. Let's complete that thought. You wonder why you can't go east or west. Let's leave the collection of the items out for this paragraph at least. I'm just going to delete it. I'll get there again. Just not that way. I got like 58 minutes left. You know you can't go east, you know. You don't know, you know you can't go east or west. Invisible, invisible, invisible. Invisible walls. Yeah. That reflect from white pants. You wonder why you're wearing white pants. You don't know why you woke with a rope. What's the beginning? Oh, interesting. Oh, is this like a way to be able to say, hey, I don't know what the hell I just experienced. I still got the same stuff. What are the items you start with in the game? Let's do this. SwordQuest. Those are the items I'm going to write about. I don't know what the other item is on the leftmost side. It looks like a... Well, there's at least a grappling hook and a rope. You don't know why you woke with a grappling rope and a hook. Yeah, with a grappling hook and a rope. You know, reach the other side of the waterfall rainbow room. Now do they see what's beyond? I think so. think that's like when they go into these levels. Well, I can just pick up the damn necklace right there. Thank you, maybe Virgo? Like, this is the room I'm going to describe now. God, hours. Jesus, this handle. That's a fun sound. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the waterfall rainbow. I'm never going to be able to get to the other side within the time frame allotted for this video game flash fiction session, so I'm going to have to fictionalize what's on the other side. Pot of gold. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the rainbow, waterfall rainbows. Forever falling. Man, it's like describing why that would be. Other than, yeah, if I took a different path, I didn't. You don't know why you woke with the grappling hook. With a grappling hook, let's put an article so we know how many. Kind of point at it a little. We don't want to point at it right yet. It's just a grappling hook when you wake up. Then it becomes the grappling hook later on. Do I have to use it though? Like, you know, if you introduce this, it's the concept. You don't know. You know, you want to try. And maybe get that. What's on the other side? I think there'd be, like, what's the, I had some necklaces. Let's go see if there's a different room where I can get some free loot. Yellow room is usually where, and then a ring. This is where I could drop stuff off, right? You get a candle, some sort of sword maybe, sword. Like, I wonder if some of these would like help you get through those things too. I don't know what that sign's supposed to be right there with two things that look like they're a humanoid-like thing holding hands. That's where I would describe it at least. And you are the flashing thing. I'm going to just say maybe the candle. Not the diamond ring, that's boring. Sword, yes. Why would you need it? Like, yeah, this is the game. Hours of early life spent playing this thing. I mean, you know, you only played it for like 15 minutes and then maybe you swapped it out and you threw in, hell, what did I have? River Raid would be a good default one. Pitfall. Yes. You don't know why you don't know. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the rainbows and maybe get that candle holder and shining sword. Let's just move on. Let's not think too much. I'm just got to stop the mind and just try to write on instinct. Who knows what'll come from it. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the rainbow, the waterfall rainbows, and get... You know you want to reach the other side of the rainbow, waterfall rainbows. To take the forever candle holder and the shining sword. These are things that are now. These are special. Just put uppercase. Good way in United States of America, English. This will help it be like a proper thing to search for and create lore around. The forever candle holder and the shining sword. Yes. Maybe one could burn or cut through the invisible walls. You know you want to try to reach the other reach. Probably put an article there. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the waterfall rainbow, so take the forever candle holder and the shining sword and maybe burn and cut through the invisible walls to find the rooms beyond. I got this pattern. You don't care. You know you play it to escape. You have 48 minutes. You know you play it to escape. I mean, it really wasn't with Intel. I'm just trying to think of how deep of stories did I really create when I was playing the Atari 2600 when I can't even remember what age. I'm trying to think. 7, 8. Because Nintendo I was probably about 12 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I think 7th grade, it would put me, I can't do that sort of United States of America, 1990s grade school age. I would have to get my whiteboard out, or at least give it a moment's thought. To say that I was young would be accurate. So when I was young and playing this, I'm not certain how deep of stories I went into when playing the games. To me, it was more about the mechanics, and not so much, honestly, about the story a lot of the times, and trying to beat the mechanics and figure them out. It really wasn't until Dungeons and Dragons, 2nd edition, and reading all those books obsessively, as well as their fiction, that I really got captured by fiction as much, or felt confident enough that I could do it, I think is the proper thing to say out loud. But still, there were some games where I did do that. But it was mostly about figuring out what it was, and maybe a little bit of the story. Like this one for certain, because the story is the mechanics, right? Like these are just a bunch of squares moving around to a point, and it's the story that comes around it that is really kind of the driving thing. Like I wanted to collect this candle for some reason because it was cool. I can move it to a different screen too, a unique feature. And I think maybe that's what I get in with the second paragraph. You've never, you want. You don't know why you want that. You don't know why you want the. You know you want. You don't know if the candle. Let's play the game. You want to play. You know you won't. You know you play. You don't want to know. You don't know. I don't know how to write that in so few words. You don't know about the laughter and what's even the word for it? And tease. And telling you to go to hell. And you know, that's it. That's about as deep as I will go. And I have things to actually, let's copy that, just so I don't have to mess it up. That writes something, maybe. You know you play it to escape and create a distraction, maybe. You know about the laughter and the tease and the telling you're going to hell when you know that you got that forever candle. When you're in these rooms. Trying to time the run through all the rainbow. You don't know about the laughter and the teases and the telling you're going to hell when you're in these rooms, trying to time the run through all the rainbows to get the forever candle, rainbow waterfalls. I should capitalize that. I just got to describe that one room. That's it. That's going to be hard. Maybe. We'll see. Let's say that I have you don't know about the laughter and the tease and the telling you're going to hell when you're in these rooms trying to time the run through the rainbow waterfalls to get the forever candle and the shining sword. We at least have some sort of end that's kind of a letdown. Suppose I should let other people judge on that. We'll see. You know you want to go, You know you want to try to reach the other side of the waterfall. Rainbow, let's capitalize that. That's right. SwordQuest EarthWorld. Maybe that does actually as a fitting title. What the story I think is becoming. You know you play to escape the EarthWorld. To quest from the EarthWorld. During the quest you don't know about the laughter. while questing. Not the UR, while questing. Questing in the rooms. Trying to time the run through all the rainbow waterfalls to get the forever candle holder and the shining sword. And it has to be a sword that is there too. It is SwordQuest. That's not too bad. It ain't total shit. Maybe just a little shitty. Now I gotta write about the room. I got 38 minutes. I got the beginning, I got the end, I need the room. And I need a lot of more. The rainbow waterfall. Flow. I mean, that's, now I gotta, oof. Yeah, like, I gotta describe this. Where does the waterfall matter come from? You're in a room. The ceiling, I suppose, like, it's a two-dimensional box here, so we could just make it a cube inside my mind, and water flows down with some weird gap. That's the thing. But that's not weird. That's not too odd. The flowing up one, though, apparently I forgot about. I'm going to do the flowing down one. Pretend the flowing up one could exist, right? You could shoot water up and things. And that's what I would imagine. Like, it's like in this case, I'm just going to do the falling down one that I tried to get through. And what you can do, all those, if I remember right, it was like you just found the pattern to go through and you got to the other side. And it was never, because they get smaller and smaller and smaller. And you just had to find that flow after hours and hours and hours. The rainbow waterfalls flow from the ceiling, slits in the ceiling. And the ceiling from stretching side to side. And then I want to be able to at least the water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls. Say wide room. Slits in the ceiling stretching side to side. Wall to wall, the wide room. There we are. That, I think, can be seen just a little more. Maybe not. The water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls. Now I gotta define that gap that happens, which I've seen water, amazing people that know how to do motors and pumps and hydraulics are able to create these wonderful water moments. Water that falls and shapes things. That is this. I don't know how to describe it other than how I just did. Water falls in sections. The water falls like a simile. The water glimmers like a wimble as it falls like a a double simile. At least I go with the as, and it's kind of neat. I don't do it often enough. I wouldn't feel like an idiot if I left it. This is likely a story. Not going to say that. This could belong somewhere, someplace, sometime. So the water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls like a like a wall with a gap taller than you. We'll say 6 waterfalls. 6 waterfalls with progressively smaller gaps to run through without fall from the ceiling. Six waterfalls. Man, I just got sidetracked and I started thinking about baseball for some reason. And there's reasons why. It's a sport that's on my mind. I think it was probably I glanced down at that. Anyway, let's get back to focus on this story. Maybe breaking away from the emotion that I had felt earlier. I don't want it to come back yet. So 6 waterfalls with the progressively small gaps. Let's put a P there, not a B, so I can have gaps. To run, progressively small gaps to run and fall from the sea. 6 waterfalls with progressively small gaps fall. I don't know where to run to. From the ceiling before the candle holder, the forever candle holder. What time is it? Man, I got 32 minutes. Man, the forever candle holder and the shining sword. You run through the first gap. The first let's make it a cool thing. I called it the Rainbow Waterfall Gap. Let's call it, you've run for the first, let's call it out here too, because, progressively just making this story a little bit better. 6 waterfalls with progressively small gaps fall. I mean, going back earlier, just because I just had this thought, is like, I think games like Barnstormer and Pitfall, like you read their story. I read those books, those instruction manuals, and was probably my introduction to creating fan fiction as I played the game. Anyway, side thought, let's get back to this story. My first venture into fan fiction was writing stories in my mind as I was playing Pitfall, which is true. And then the ones that I didn't know, I just got lost in the mechanics. So I did get into the stories, but it was more in a fan fiction way, I think. Or inventing them for something else. Rarely. Not as much as Dungeons & Dragons inspirations and stories. Let's get back onto this, because now I'm mumbling and I'm likely not making much context sense. 6 waterfalls with progressively small gaps fall from the ceiling before the forever candle holder and the shining sword. You run through the first waterfall, Rainbow Waterfall Gap. Just call it out first and then gap the rest away. 6 waterfalls with progressively small gaps fall from the ceiling. They're like 6 rainbow waterfall gaps. Just call it out. Kind of make it colorful. Make it a thing. Small widths. Like the, what's the one dimension? Length, width, length. Lengths. Six rainbow waterfalls with progressively small. Wow, man, what am I thinking? Let's just dive into more definition. Like I'm swimming. I guess I don't know why I said dive. That's just such a dive into the money pit, dive into the mind pit, dive into the jumbled thoughts. Six rainbow waterfalls with progressively small rainbow. Yeah, I know. Waterfall gaps of smaller length fall from the ceiling before the forever candle holder. So the water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls like a wall with gaps taller than you. Gaps, white taller. That's just taller than you. And smaller, as big as you, as tall as you. Geez, this is such a... I got 27 minutes. Six rainbow waterfalls with progressively small rainbow gaps fall from the ceiling. I'm just repeating myself. Like a rainbow. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, okay, the water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls like a wall with gaps taller than you. Taller and as tall as you. There's a lot of as's there, but less. Six rainbow waterfalls fall from the ceiling. Let's just get rid of this. Man. Yeah, that's right. We're going to write this again, yo. There we go. Six waterfall gaps as tall as you. Six waterfall waves. Waterfalls fall from the ceiling from before the blah blah blah. You run through the first waterfall gap. And hit the water. The next waterfall wall, and your body. And the force thrusts you like a wave through the waterfall behind and against, and at the beginning, I guess this is a beginning, at the beginning of this thing, right? I mean, you run through the first rainbow waterfall gap and hit the waterfall wall, and the force thrusts you like a wave through the waterfalls behind and on the floor. Loud, we gotta have that sound, right? Loud crash, loud thrashing, like, I'm gonna say a rumbling, it's fictional, a rumbling waterfall fills the rainbow waterfall room. and rumbles and jostles and rumbles. Your soul. Yes. Your very soul. You should probably possess that. Not you soul. Your soul. In 24 minutes. You run through the first rainbow gap and yeah, okay. So we got some sound, we got some setup, and we got some reality, and then we got done. But I need more like the repetition over and over and over and over. You time the gap, the rainbow fall gap. And hit one of the 6 walls, water walls, that thrusts, that wave thrusts you to the entrance of the room. You know, you've tried, you know you ran, you know you ran and tried to stop before each wall and step and duck through, but found moving fast and ducking was required. And duck through the gaps, the narrower gaps. Step and duck through the narrower gaps. You know you try, you ran, you know you patterned your movements to step under and through a gap and stop before each wall, but found after 30 times you needed to be moving fast, then a stop and step for the final smaller gaps. I can't write that word. There we go. You tried running about 1,000 times. You tried running and stopping about 100 times. Then realized you hit the wall. Too many times. You hit the wall too many times. Unable to stop fast enough. Unable to stop. Just leave it there. And then the success. And the amount of times it took. You know if you run a pattern under the gaps, you will make it. Because after 50 times by this, 56 times, you run stuck and slide through the last rainbow. Let's put that all in uppercase. What do they call it? Rainbow waterfall gaps. Next sentence. You slide before the forever candle. And I should put that, of course, in uppercase. We got to make it really important for the SwordQuest. And what did I call the sword by chance? The shining sword, of course. I have it written right down there and I didn't see it. I'm just gonna put one end. You side before. We probably put an L there to make that a better verb. Adverb. You slide and stop before. You slide along the marble. You slide along the wet floor. The wet stone floor. Let's add a little bit of show and tell. And stop before the forever candle and the shining sword. You feel a rush of joy. Holding the shining sword. Not knowing if it will cut the invisible walls, east and west walls. And then I'll end it with that. You know you played the quest. I don't know if it's going to be any good. Does that even read? Let's read it aloud and at least see. So over and over again, run time, over you run. Yeah, so it's a good thing to edit a little bit before I read this aloud finally. I only got 17 minutes left. Probably be shortly done. Over and over you run, comma, you run. At time of the rainbow gaps. What the hell was I even? Over and over you run at times, at speeds. Jeez, you run at speeds, at different speeds and ways through the rainbow gaps, the rainbow wall gaps. I think I went this way. What do I got? 16 minutes. Wait, that sucks, man. That's bad. I'm glad I went back and read this. So over and over, you run at different speeds and methods. That's just. Yeah, this is horrible. You know you pattern your movements to step under. Okay, over and over. You run and remember. Let's set up the paragraph, right? Different. Patterns. Yeah, it's not a sexy word, but you know, I have sexy words for everything. Games are all about patterns anyway, so it's fitting. You run and remember different patterns and techniques to run through the gaps. All right, so let's get rid of some of these. The six gaps. And then just summarize the hit, right? Let's get rid of this. Let's just delete it all and have the joy of seeing words get removed that are really bad. Techniques to run through the six gaps. You know, touching the water, rainbow waterfall. And this might make it, rainbow waterfall will thrust you back. To the entrance of the room. Ah, where's words? You know you patterned your movements to step under and through a gap and stop before each wall, but found after 30 times you needed, I guess I'm in past tense now. I'm not, I'm just going to try to process that. Moving faster, then stop. But found after 30 times you need to be moving faster than you move after you. Man, lots of yous. Let's just throw those around like they're going to grow plants that make a good story, or I don't know where I'm going with that lame. Just trying to be distractive for my own mind of hating that. Faster than you move after you stop and step for the final smaller gaps. Let's go waterfall gaps. Let's just, at least throw that out. I don't need to redefine everything. You tried running, stopping about 100 times when realized you hit a wall too many times, unable to stop. You know if you run a pattern under gaps, under waterfall gaps, come on. I don't want to make them too boring. I don't have to say the rainbow waterfall every single time in caps, but let's at least carry that along. Under waterfall gaps, you will make it. You will because that you can reach the other side even after 56 times of you running, dunking. I'm going to be playing some basketball and sliding through the last rainbow gap. There we go. We're through. SwordQuest, yo. Okay. You slide along the wet stone floor and stop before. Let's not stops me. Let's just stop. Come on, fam and fingers. What time is it? 12 minutes left. You feel a rush of joy holding the shining sword, not knowing if it will cut the invisible east-west walls. And then why are we doing this? What's the resolution? We know why we have this sword that gives it purpose and a little bit of subplot, maybe. And then the real reason. You play it the quest from the EarthWorld. You don't know about the laughter. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it and read it at the end. I'm done. Let's get some noise. Let's try to find that room first. I mean, that is some dissonance. So this is the one that, is it? I mean, come on. I know there was an invisible one of those, but that's a little bit painful. All right, I'm going to read it to that. I don't even know. I think that's like put in there once every while to show you how much you've progressed to collect things and do things with them. Let's just read this story and look at that screen go. For today's video game flash fiction story, inspired by SwordQuest EarthWorld. SwordQuest EarthWorld. You don't know why you're standing in the blue room, pressing an invisible wall in the hall to another room. You know the invisible walls go east and west in any multicolored room that reflect from your white pants. You don't know why you woke with a grappling hook and a rope. You know you want to try to reach the other side of the waterfall rainbows to take the forever candle holder and the shining sword. Maybe one will burn or cut through the invisible walls to find the rooms beyond. The rainbow waterfalls flow from slits in the ceiling, stretching wall to wall of the room. The water glimmers like a rainbow as it falls like a water wall, with rainbow waterfall gaps taller than you. 6 waterfall rainbows fall from the ceiling before the forever candle holder and the 6 shining swords. Loud thrashing rumbles from the waterfalls and fills the rainbow waterfall room and rumbles your soul. You run through the first rainbow waterfall gap and hit the waterfall, and a thrust forces you like a wave from the waterfall behind you and onto the floor. Over and over you run and remember different patterns and techniques to run through the 6 gaps. You know touching the waterfall will thrust you back to the entrance of the room. You know you pattern your movements to step under and through a gap and stop before each wall, but after about 30 times you need to be moving faster. Then you move after you stop and step a final step in the smaller waterfall gaps. You tried running, stopping about 100 times, then realized you hit the wall too many times, unable to stop. You know if a run pattern exists under the waterfall gaps, you can reach the other side even after 56 times of you running, ducking, and sliding through the last rainbow waterfall gap. You slide along the wet stone floor and stop before the forever candle and the shining sword. You feel a rush of joy holding the shining sword, not knowing if it will cut the invisible east and west walls. You know you play at the quest from the EarthWorld. You don't know about the laughter and the teases and the telling you're going to go to hell while questing in a room, trying to time the run through all the rainbow waterfalls to get the forever candle holder and the shining sword. Well, that was the story for today. Let's remember just a little bit more. It's my writing process to add this to source and read aloud and feel good about it, though it has many mistakes. Let me see if I can, well, and with that, I think it might be inspiring me to play a video game later today sometime, and that will maybe free it from all the chaos. Until then, game on.